Patriotism is a euphemism for tribalism.
No, it is. Yes. Yes, you're 100% correct. Yeah. I guess I speak the same language as most people in this country, but I don't consider myself like a USian or anything like that, you know? Like, I just simply live here. This is where I was born, you know, but I have no allegiance per se to this place other than like, well, if my friends and neighbors are attacked, sure, I'll come to their aid. Or if they need help or whatever, is not even just attacking, but like, oh, there's a disaster. Well, and honestly, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't have to be in like a given country. It could be just there's a big ass disaster that happened somewhere. Holy shit, there's a bunch of people that need help because some bad thing happened. Yeah, I'd be inclined to want to help because they're fellow humans. Yeah, it's like why can't we just go more towards that?
I think what people don't really realize is, maybe this will sound a little contradictory, but we can have government without leaders. We don't need leaders.
I agree. No, I get what you're going for. Yeah, no, you're right.
People would be like, "Oh God, all the leaders just disappeared. They got taken away by the UFO. What are we gonna do?" Well, same thing we do every day. Try to take over the world.
No, that's a really good.
Life would go on.
It absolutely would. Yeah, that's right. Like if Washington D.C. was like sucked up by aliens or something,
yeah,
like the U.S. would still function.
Yeah, the infrastructure is still there. People still have their jobs. They would still go and do their jobs.
People know how to do things. They're like, oh yeah, okay, well.
Particular jobs have managers to manage the things. They don't need people at the top barking orders just for the sake of barking orders.
No, exactly. Well, it's the same thing with a corporation or something. If the CEO just disappeared, the corporation's still going to function. It's not like the janitor is suddenly going to be like, oh my God, what do I do? The CEO's dead.
Like, if you have to go to war, why can't you just break their toys? Like, just do that.
Well, and the thing about it too is now, I mean, people in the US are taking notice of it because it's like, oh shit, we could be susceptible to such an attack, and there's literally nothing we could do about it. Like, some containers come across in a ship from some other country, and those are the Trojan horses full of drones that just come out in the middle of the night, and like, you can't stop it. Like, yes, you can destroy them. It's possible, but you have to know where they are. You can't necessarily easily track them. You could jam things, but you're also running the risk of jamming your own stuff. And they were just using like off-the-shelf cell signal. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, you could jam drones, but now nobody can use cell phones in the area. Like, and that would be problematic, but it's like, yeah, they can come out of nowhere. The attachment, this faith in government is very much like faith in a religion. People believe it's a thing, not because it's ever done anything. You might believe in, you go to church and you believe in God and pray and all this stuff, even though you've never witnessed a miracle ever. And maybe there's something that happened where they're like, oh, that's evidence. That must have been God or something. But like, well, okay, that could also just be a coincidence. And in fact, it probably is. So like, government doing good things could be just coincidental. Like, it just so happens that every once in a while something good happens. But generally, I don't think it does good. I think it does a lot of harm. And like, I think community involvement is a better way. Like, all of us operating just on our own with this sort of goal of like, hey, let's make the world a better place. And start with ourselves, build up our community. You know, if you have the means, go out and help other people in other communities, bring everybody together. We won't have conflicts at that point.
All you need is a basis in critical thinking early enough in human development, and you don't even have to like push anything, get up on a soapbox or any of that. Like, all you have to do is introduce critical thinking, and I guarantee religiosity would go down.
Yeah.
And that's not coming from a place of being like, let's get rid of all religion. It's more of a place like, that's just the logical conclusion that people come to when they begin asking questions of what they're being told.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's been my nature. I guess I'm lucky that it was like in my genes that ever since I could talk, I was asking questions about the world around me, and I didn't have a filter like, oh, I'm not supposed to ask about this. No, I would ask. So I'm sitting there in Catholic school being the teacher's worst nightmare. This doesn't really jive with what Jesus said before.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's another problematic thing in school. They don't teach you how to be self-sufficient. So that automatically makes you dependent on these systems that you're told you need to be dependent on. That like, oh, if these go away, fucking all hell is going to break loose. Like, nah, you know what? If you could take care of yourself or take care of somebody else, I mean, we're all good now. Like, we don't need any of these systems. Like, knowing how to do things, how things work, how to fix things, like how to deal with a budget or whatever, how to household kind of stuff. Like, there's a lot of different things that no one's ever taught. And then they get out into the world and they're helpless. It's like, well, what? How? You ought to be able to do this. Like, you've got to be, we all need to be critical thinkers and we have to be skeptics, especially. Okay, here's the key. When you start getting emotionally connected to something or start feeling something about something, that's when you need to turn up the skeptic dial to max, because that's the time where you're going to get sucked in and believe something that didn't happen or believe that something is a way that it isn't, because of course the powers that be, the elites, they want to control people, and they're going to take every opportunity to do that. So like, yeah, we got to be skeptical of stuff, especially anything that feeds into what you believe to be true. Yeah, be very, very skeptical of those things. Because
certain phrasings of things should automatically throw up some red flags, but at the same time, you have to be cognizant that that could just be poor writing. The fallacy, right? Like, just because the argument is poor doesn't mean the message is false.
Exactly. You could almost argue a lot of wars are kind of hate crimes. That the reason people are fighting these wars is because you have a different religion, you pray to a different god. We don't like
you
that.
have a different philosophy of economy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, whatever it might be, it's like, okay, that's not justification for murder. And I would say, in that regard, war that is aggressive against somebody for an arbitrary reasons is murder. If you are partaking in combat at the behest of a government and it's because of something stupid like that, you are a murderer. The voters also are they're brainwashed as well. Like, people following the system, because honestly, I think it is faith in the system. It is following this structure that somebody else has put together, which has not been crafted to benefit you. It has been crafted to benefit them. And why do we follow it? Why do we participate in that system? Why do we play the game when the game is rigged against every one of us? And we're also pitted against each other in daily life too. It's like, oh yeah, you're on the red team, you're on the blue team. I have to hate you, or I don't trust you, or you're a liar or something. It's like, no. They want you to believe that. They want you to do that. It's because it's that conflict that allows them to basically pull the strings.
State lines haven't changed pretty much since the 1800s, right?
Yeah, basically. Why not? Why not change them around a little bit? And why can't there be more states, right? Like, why can't there be Western Washington, Eastern Washington, Western Oregon, Eastern Oregon?
And like absorbing other countries as a 51st state, we could just break up our own states into smaller states,
Which they'd be happier that way. Everybody would be happier.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Like, as long as you have open trade, what's the problem? And that, again, goes back to warfare too, because it's like, oh, well, if the states really want to, the only way is to take up arms and shoot your neighbor. Eastern Washington and Oregon couldn't produce enough. Well, they don't need tax revenues. That's the thing.
Right. Like, how much do they need to spend if there's not that many people in
Well,
their pop?
exactly. And they have the highways and stuff, but a lot of the highway shit is like federal. Well, they absolutely can because that's where all the food is made. I
Right.
think they have quite a lot going for them there.
There's a conspiracy, I think, that keeps Africa in the state that it's in, in like kind of tumultuous and unstable,
Mm-hmm.
and
Poverty
and
ridden.
in reality, like they're being exploited for the resources that are there, and at the same time, kind of giving off this facade to the rest of the world that is just like a desolate desert with nothing in it,
Which is totally not
but
true.
really could really be like the world power as a continent.
Well, and that's the thing too. One of the problems with Africa is the governments of various nations. Not all of them. Some of them are doing okay, but in general, these governments get in and they're the ones that are exploiting. They're militarily controlling almost dictatorially the people and keeping them down
Right.
while making them work and extract natural resources and whatnot.